Have you ever wondered why your kindness often turns into a heavy burden? Why does your sacrifice only meet with the coldest indifference in return? Do not try to warm an iceberg using the very fire of your own life. This is not compassion. It is a slow suicide of the soul. Today, we will explore the harsh reality of misplaced kindness and why some things in this world are simply not meant to be melted by love. We often believe that if we give enough of ourselves, we can change the nature of the cold. But nature is a force far more stubborn. Your energy is a precious resource, yet you spend it on shadows that do not want to see the light, draining your spirit until nothing remains. It is time to stop burning yourself out to keep others warm, especially those who find comfort in the very darkness that is consuming you. Let us journey into a story of a blacksmith and a sword made of ice to understand the high price of a heart that gives too much. In an ancient time, a legendary blacksmith found a sword cursed by eternal frost. It was beautiful but radiated a cold that could stop a heart. He felt a strange pity for the weapon, believing it was trapped in its own chill. He vowed to bring back its warmth and its purpose. The man held the sword close to his chest, breathing his warm, humid breath onto the blade, hoping to see the ice begin to melt away. But the sword did not yield. Instead, it drank his breath, turning the very heat of his life into more layers of thick, jagged crystalline ice. He believed his love would be the catalyst for change. He believed that no matter how cold the object, a persistent flame could conquer it. Soon, his hands began to bleed from the freezing bite of the metal. His blood dripped onto the surface, staining the ice a deep, ominous red. The sword did not soften. It grew more formidable. It was using the blacksmith's own life force to strengthen its icy barrier against the world. He realized too late that the sword did not want to be warm. Its nature was to be cold, and it would consume anything that offered heat. Every ounce of energy he gave was simply absorbed into the void. He was dying, while the sword remained as frozen and unyielding as the day. This is the harsh truth. The sword had no gratitude. It didn't ask to be warmed, and it felt no remorse for draining its savior dry. Ice doesn't care about the fire that melts it. It only knows how to extinguish. Your kindness is just another fuel for its eternal winter. He had mistaken a curse for a cry for help. He had sacrificed his own survival for something that was designed only to hurt others. The beauty of the sword was a trap. It drew in the warm-hearted only to turn them into statues of ice, frozen in their own regret. The blacksmith's forge, once a place of creation and heat, was now a tomb. Misplaced kindness had destroyed the very tools of his trade. He finally understood the difference between helping someone in need and trying to change the fundamental nature of a soul that loves its cold. You cannot remain a heart that finds power in its own frost. To do so is to invite your own destruction for an impossible goal. The act of letting go was more painful than the act of holding on, but it was the only way to save the last spark within. The sword remained. It didn't change. It waited for the next person who thought their fire was strong enough to melt the undashed table. He left the sword behind. It was his first step toward wisdom. It was the moment he chose his own life over a beautiful lie. Why do we persist? Why do we try so hard for those who do not cherish us? This is the syndrome of the people-pleaser. We believe that if we are good enough, they will transform. We take the pain of the thorns as a sign of our own devotion. But nature is not a choice. It is an essence. A cactus does not stop being prickly just because you hug it with more intensity. You use your kindness to seek self-worth, hoping their change will prove your value. But their coldness is about them, not about your inadequacy. Kindness without boundaries is not a virtue. It is self-sabotage. You are pouring your soul into a vessel that was never meant to hold it. Some people are predators of empathy. They see your warmth as a meal, an easy source of energy to sustain their own selfish isolation. They do not want to be healed. They want to be fed. And you, in your infinite kindness, are offering yourself up as the main course. When you lose your boundaries, you lose your internal compass. You start defining your goodness by how much pain you can endure for others. This is a toxic cycle. You give, they take, and the ice only gets thicker. It is a game where the only way to win is to stop. Your time and your heat are finite. Every second you spend on an iceberg is a second you lose for those who actually bloom. Recognizing the nature of the situation is the first step of wisdom. Trust your intuition when it tells you the frost is too deep. In real life, icebergs don't always look like swords. Sometimes they look like a friend who only calls when they need a favor. They might be a partner who uses silence as a weapon, leaving you to freeze in the quiet while you beg for a single word. These are the emotional icebergs. They absorb your affection, your patience, and your joy, leaving you feeling empty and shivering with unsaid grief. It could be a job that demands your entire life but offers no appreciation, slowly turning your passion into a block of dead ice. You might feel like you are the only one trying, the only one keeping the fire alive in a world that has gone completely numb. The scene notification that never gets a reply is a shard of ice. It tells you exactly where you stand. If you choose to listen, are you putting your heart in a freezer and wondering why it stopped beating with excitement? Some environments are simply toxic to your growth. You are performing for an audience that has already left the building. Stop looking for applause from those who cannot even see your light. Wisdom lies in knowing who is actually asking for help, and who is just looking for a temporary heat source to exploit. Don't confuse their misery with a desire to change. Some people are comfortable in their cold. They have built a throne out of it. To save yourself, you must be willing to let the anchor go. You are not responsible for dragging their weight to the surface. Migration is a survival instinct. Leaving a cold relationship or a draining environment is not a failure. It is a necessary act of life. When you stop trying to fix the unfixable, you finally have the energy to fix yourself. You regain the fire you almost lost forever. Your kindness should be like the sun, giving warmth to those who can grow from it, not those who only seek to absorb it. Close the chapter on the icebergs. They will remain cold, but you do not have to be there to witness their winter anymore. Self-love is the ultimate boundary. It is the realization that your internal fire is sacred and must be protected at all costs. You do not have an obligation to warm the world, especially those who refuse to strike a single match for themselves in the dark. Establish your circle of heat. Decide who is allowed near your fire and who must stay outside in the cold they have chosen. Learning to say no is like building a wall against the blizzard. It is not being mean. It is being wise about your survival. Drop the burden of saving others. You are a human being, not a furnace. Your purpose is to live, not just to serve. Tend to your own fire first. If your flame is strong, you can light other torches without losing your own heat in the process. True generosity comes from a place of abundance, not from a place of desperation. Make sure you are full before you try to feed. Seek reciprocity. Look for those who bring their own wood to the fire. Relationships should be a mutual exchange of warmth and energy. Your home, your heart, and your mind should be a sanctuary. Do not let the frost of others leak into your most private spaces. Clarity is the reward for setting boundaries. You see the world as it is, not as you wish it were, and you act accordingly. You are free to walk away from anything that threatens to extinguish your spirit. That freedom is the highest form of power you possess. The key to a peaceful life is knowing when to help and when to walk away. Use it often and without any lingering guilt. Our blacksmith survived because he chose to leave the ice behind. He found a new forge, one where the heat was used to create. His hands are no longer frozen. They are busy shaping a future that serves a purpose. He learned the value of his own fire. The iceberg will always exist, but it no longer has power over him. It is just a relic of a lesson learned in pain. Remember, kindness without wisdom is just a slow way to disappear. You must be the guardian of your own soul's light today. Spend your warmth on the flowers that want to bloom. Spend your energy on the hearts that are ready to beat alongside your own. This video was a reminder for your heart to stop the unnecessary struggle. It is okay to be warm and still say no. Thank you for joining us at Breakthrough Zone. We hope this message helps you reclaim your fire and set your boundaries with strength. Do not let your kindness be blinded by the hope of change. Keep your fire for those who truly cherish the warmth. Goodbye for now.